Diablo 4 is coming next year. I mean, hopefully. Maybe if we pray to Diablo hard enough, we will actually get this game next year. But there is a fair amount of information out there about what's different in Diablo 4. And it is significantly different to any of the other Diablo games in the past. And today we're going to break down all of this and talk about everything that's coming in Diablo 4. Let's go. Let me know in the comments if you are excited for Diablo 4. We'll start with classes, as this is one of the most important things in every Diablo game. It's all about combat and it's all about classes. There are going to be 5 classes at launch in Diablo 4. First is the Barbarian. The Barbarian has unparalleled strength and expertly wields an entire arsenal in battle. With a weapon for every occasion, he bellows intimidating war cries and unleashes ground-shaking slams to send approaching hordes reeling. The Druid is a savage shapeshifter, God, say that 3 times fast, fluidly transforming between the forms of a towering bear and a vicious werewolf to fight alongside creatures of the wild. He also commands the power of earth, wind, and storm, unleashing nature's wrath to devastating effect. The Necromancer was the class that was most recently announced at E3 or fake E3 this year, and the Necromancers are cunning summoners that conjure vengeful hordes of the undead. Their essence flows into 3 powerful bastions of bone, blood, or shadow to bring low their enemies. Rogue is an adaptable, agile warrior who can specialize in ranged or close quarters combat. She can best her foes with air-imbued weapons, perform powerful combo attacks, and can augment her arsenal with deadly poisons and shadow magic to slay demons with impunity. And last is the Sorcerer, and the Sorcerer shapes the reality into whatever form is necessary to ensure victory, from hurling bolts of lightning, impaling her foes upon jagged spikes of ice, and raining flaming meteors down from the sky. To touch on here as well, there is some in-depth character customization we did see at the Xbox Showcase, and seemingly there's going to be plenty of different builds and playstyles for each of these classes. It seems like they'll each have about 3 different specializations, like with the Necromancer, the Bone, the Blood, and the Shadow. You'll have different ways that you can really specialize into that class, and then obviously when you get into the Paragon boards and levels, you'll be able to really expand that build even further. So what's different about the gameplay of Diablo 4? It will be an always online shared world. Not a full-blown MMO, but it will be an open world that is shared by other players. And this open world will allow you to explore and quest and fight demons and do all of that good Diablo stuff. There is apparently approximately about 150 dungeons in the game according to the devs, as well as strongholds, which are enemy locations that need to be reclaimed, and once you've cleared all of the demons, it will become a friendly location with allies. There's also local events similar to the local events in Diablo Immortal, that things that will just pop up as you're exploring the world. You'll be able to do these little side quests or fight big world bosses out in the world. There's plenty, it seems like, to do here, and this is the first Diablo that's really in that like open world space. There's a little bit of that in Diablo Immortal, but not really heaps, and the open world areas are very, very tight in that game. The gameplay seems to be what you would expect from a Diablo Immortal in terms of combat, that kind of general combat flow of just hordes of enemies, that kind of power fantasy of just mowing them all down. That absolutely seems to be here. And based on the information that we have, that open world will be split into different zones, and there will be specific zones that are focused on PvP. These PvP zones are called Fields of Hatred, and the player can choose to enter them, and whether or not they do has no bearing on the main quest or anything like that. It's just like optional PvP content, which is perfect because I am absolutely not a PvPer. Anyone who knows me, it's just not my thing. But anyway, that said, in these PvP zones, there is a special currency called the Hatred Shards, which you can get from performing activities in these zones, like killing monsters, completing events, opening chests, and killing other players. Entering PvP zones is a high-risk, high-reward activity. As you get these Hatred Shards, you'll need to purify them first, and doing so makes you a prime target for other PvPers. If you manage to escape with a few of these shards, you can then spend them at special vendors for weapons and mounts and costumes and all that good stuff. So there's plenty of reasons to enter PvP, and maybe this will mean that I might check it out. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Dark Zone, right? So you got to get those Hatred Shards and extract them from the zone. So potentially there is a lot of worth in that, even for a PvEer like myself. But your progression won't just come from PvP. It will come from all of the different systems, like in most other Diablo games. There's that typical leveling system where you just level up and unlock your skills and upgrade those skills. After gaining a level, you will receive a stat point and 2 skill points to spend on your class's skill trees. At max level, you'll also get the Paragon progress boards and the gear grind to keep you busy. Legendary and unique items are back here, by the way, and they also have legendary effects for their gear, but you can actually draw the essence of that legendary effect from one piece and upgrade it into another piece to give that other piece that legendary bonus. I guess a little bit similar to the Diablo Immortals essence transfer if you've tried that, but it does seem to be its own system here. The Paragon boards unlock for each class at level 50, meaning level 50 is expected to be the max level. And these boards seem honestly confusing to me right now. But anyway, they are essentially these multiple boards, and as you unlock the different nodes, you can then progress them out, and you get to the edges, there's like these gate tiles, which will then allow you to progress into like another board, so you can keep advancing your builds in that way. And these tiles range from anything from like common tiles, which are just like small little stat bonuses, to like legendary bonuses, which will give you massive changes to like skills in your build and stuff. So I really want to see more from this Paragon system and like understand it better. I kind of get it, but then at the same time I kind of don't. It seems like you could move the different boards around to change the way that the tiles interact or something. I really want to see more about this. Endgame is really where that Paragon system will come in, and it's kind of the main crux of any Diablo game as to keeping players engaged. And there will be a full endgame in Diablo 4. They have mentioned there's going to be regular content added over time, new gear to grind for, and the Paragon boards obviously to level up. The brief look at the Paragon boards does look very expansive, but I'm more keen in what the actual things to do in the endgame are. And we have seen with Diablo Immortal, there's things like the Elder Rifts, which seem to be making a return in some regards, plus the dungeons and potentially raids. If there is like big bosses that you can fight in the open world, we might see some kind of raid content potentially as well, which I would hope that we do get some more of that like 8-player PvE stuff. For your story here, there hasn't been too much specifically shown about the Diablo 4 story. However, Lilith has returned to Sanctuary, summoned by a dark ritual after eons into exile. Her return ushers in an age of darkness and misery. Lilith was last seen in Diablo 2 and seems to now be the major antagonist here for Diablo 4. And it's interesting that Diablo 2 just got a remaster, so I imagine there will be relevant story impacts from Diablo 2 into Diablo 4. Some other tidbits here that didn't seem to fit anywhere else in the video is that there is going to be crossplay between the different platforms, as well as couch co-op, so you can sit on a couch and play together. There will be microtransactions, but they won't be like Diablo Immortal. According to Adam Fletcher, the global community lead for Diablo, quote, Diablo 4 is coming out as a full-priced game built strictly for PC and console audiences. The game is huge, and there will be tons of content after launch for all players. Paid content is built around optional cosmetic items and eventually full expansions. We will share more info soon, end quote. So think something like Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls expansion, things like that is how they're going to add more content to the game in the future. But then there will be a microtransaction store for cosmetic items, I guess similar to the cosmetics from Diablo Immortal, just without the extra stuff around that. So I'd keep an eye on Diablo 4's quarterly updates, as well as they are releasing little tidbits of information like every quarter. It might tell you a little bit about, you know, the loot system or the Paragon boards, that kind of stuff. There's little bits in this stuff, but worth checking out these updates as they do come. The ultimate question is, when is this game going to release? Now, they have said 2023, and it's coming to Xbox One, PS4, PC, PS5, Xbox Series S and X. So all of those platforms, but Xbox did say that in their showcase event that they were only showing games releasing in the next 12 months, and Diablo 4 was shown. So theoretically, assuming that that information is actually correct, or there isn't any delays behind the scenes, or who knows what else happens, we could see Diablo 4 before June 2023. So essentially, it's less than a year to wait, but I'm sure that we'll have more information on that anytime soon. And in the meantime, Diablo 4 is going to have a beta test. You can actually register for that now. I have a link to that in the comments if you guys want to go register for the Diablo 4 beta test. No news on when that's actually going to be, but you can register and get yourself on the list for hopefully getting a code when that does happen. Let me know in the comments down below what you're excited for Diablo 4, if Diablo Immortal has kind of lowered your expectations for this game. Really interested to see what people's opinions are for Diablo 4. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is NorZZa, and I hope you have a great day.